Well, here's a follow-up on the Champion 300. This gear right here wasn't meshing anymore, so I took a peek around. I took the, trying to look at the camera here, I took the shaft here out of the coupler. Everything's been discharged. This thing hasn't been plugged in I know, at least 10 years. So this wasn't meshing here. So I loosened the screws and we're moving around here. I got this gear off of that shaft. Now my fear was that I couldn't turn this shaft very easily with my fingers. But again, I'm an old guy and look at that thing. I'm lucky it works. So I got the pliers here, and with a very little effort, not turning very hard, but it goes one way, goes the other way to the stop, goes 180 degrees, the other way to the stop. So I'm going to bump it against the stop going clockwise. I'm going to slip this gear back on here. I'm not sure how I can do this and let you guys watch me work. I mean, pretend to try to fix something here. So, there it is right there. I'm just making sure. We're going to put this back in. Get that shaft lined up. So, we turned that thing all the way clockwise. So, being all the way clockwise would mean this gear is spinning that way, right? So let's come around to the front. We want that in the 10-meter position. And now I got to make sure that that is also in the 10-meter position, which I don't need to look at it to know that it's not in the 10-meter position because I paid attention when I took it apart. So I am going to grab this coupler and put it into the 10-meter position, which is all the way clockwise. Put that on 10 meters. So now our indicator and our shaft here lines up with 10 meters. Alright, you see that there. I'm gonna come back up here, make sure I can see what I'm looking at here, make sure you can see it. Alright, so it being on 10 meters there, I'm gonna do my best to see with these glasses. 10 meters. Alright, so there we go. Now that's the band switch in action. Tighten this screw. I'm guessing that's a fiber shaft. I don't know. It's probably not. Let's see. No, it looks like it's brass. Alright. So, all the way clockwise. Now this gear wants to ride over here. Remember that, all the way clockwise, which means being on this side of the gear, which is where we started, that's going to be clockwise. Let's see if we can't get these gears to match. Oh boy. Well, there's the problem. These things are absolutely dominant. It's fantastic to look at. It did everything right. And any version of it. Well, I guess what we do is we run this gear pretty high. They're amazing cars. Now this car, gotta get it close here on that shaft. And then it moved on to Brian Bretman, and it went on to actually racing after the Miles Legitimate Racing. And then we went on to Richard Appel. Another screw here. We know the history of it all the way from the days of Solar Productions ownership. Alright. So, looks like I got them in there. I'm going to get a light and some flash. Are you eligible? Make sure these gears are lining up. Old guy glasses. Alright. Alright, run this side gear. Give it a little jiggle until I notice it's close to fully meshed. Or as close as I can get it. You know, I'm looking to have the two gears touching each other. That up. So you can, if you want to look in here. So it's kind of like that. That. Let's see, we're going to really get you in here. It's going to be a little longer video than I had thought, but I want you to see those gears meshing. There's a little bit of wear on there, but they're resting about as good as they can get. So, we'll get you back up here. Ah! Right there. Alright, so let's get back to this. That gear being meshed up relatively good in the most clockwise position. Let's tighten that screw.
It's funny because Redmond sold to Adwin
Tighten.
2 years later.
See, that came out a little bit. I keep it up. Tighten that screw a little bit. Let's just take a look. Clockwise is definitely driving uphill on the back of the gear, which will drive the front this gear uphill clockwise. So now we're going to go counterclockwise. There it is. Next one. Oh yeah, you can see it's riding up that gear a little bit. It's going though. Yeah. There's some flex happening here.
Because I think we're not going to see McQueen's impact as significant as been in the past when his sunglasses sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, jumpsuits sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There seems to be a little bit of more, quite a bit more flex than. Now the gear doesn't want to walk up the shaft. There it goes.
Without his kind of affinity partnership with the product. And so on a percentage basis, the influence on bar is not necessarily as significant. But
here goes the battery. So here's your answer. Just as all of these capacitors need replacing, and potentially a few of the resistors, although these are shiny. Well, everything I know says that these are Allen Bradley. They're shiny, so they have a coating on them. But some of these other resistors might need replacing. You're going to have to test them. But realistically, I mean, there's less than 80 pieces to this thing. So you should be able to figure it out. These micro resistors, I'm told, don't go bad that often. Now, back to this switch. The band switch. Here is your transmitting band switch, but this right here, there's another switch up in the VFO by the tuning circuit. Here's obviously the problem. Unless you go nice and slow, with patience, you are going to not put it in the right correct location. This assembly, which is, here, I'll walk you back there. Here. Oh, let's see if there's a drawing. I need it. You know, I'm kind of dumb. There's no kind of about it. I'm actually really dumb. So what you got to remember is, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm doing all I can, man. All right. Well, I already saw some part listings for bearings and stuff, but underneath this assembly, so this doesn't look exactly like this actually, to be honest with you. But so here's the deal. Underneath that assembly right there that gear resides. So there's a mechanism in here that needs some lubrication. Now, that being said, I just noticed this right here does not look like that. Hello, like that right there. Zoomed in. Like that right there. But there's some different stuff there. Different stuff there. So clearly this one's a little different. There's some walls missing. This one's got a nice RF border here. Whatever you want to call it there. I mean, there's obviously some minor differences apparently. But I did want to walk through this and show you. I mean, this thing's you gotta be real slow. Like, I'm kind of inching this thing forward. And you can watch, I'll show you. Inching it forward, see? Inch it along and hope for the best. Again, this thing is super solid. Once you lubricate this assembly, this thing's, great. Is there a scratch? Yeah, there's one right there. Oh boy. Old guy bending over. Scratch right there. See it? I might guess this thing together before you pick it up, but you may be picking it up. I threw my back out.